While President Trump faces a storm of criticism from his own party, here's what a union worker in Kentucky said a few days ago about the countries targeted by the proposed tariffs. He said, quote, "I think we need to level the playing field." That's Jack Bowers of UAW Local 2164 in Bowling Green. Congresswoman Marcy Kaptur is a Democrat who believes the tariffs will help protect vital American industries. She joins me now live from Toledo. Congresswoman, welcome. Great to have you with us.
Thank you, Shannon, very much.
Okay, you know the GOP reaction hasn't been good. I want to play a bite from Senator Orrin Hatch. Here's his reaction tonight.
Whoever advised him on this ought to be reprimanded. In all honesty, it's not going to help America. It's going to cause higher prices around here, and it's going to make us less competitive in the world marketplace.
You know, there's been a lot of backlash domestically and internationally. These announcements don't formally come or roll out into a signatory type item until next week. Do you think they still happen, Congresswoman?
I think that all details haven't been released yet. And obviously, unlike Senator Hatch, I represent industrial America. And here we have Republic Steel, U.S. Steel, ArcelorMittal, Alcoa. We have America's defense and industrial base. We have Fiat Chrysler, Ford, General Motors. I mean, the list goes on. And we understand the delicate nature of tariffs, but we know America hasn't had a trade balance in over a quarter century. Right now, over 700 workers in Lorain, Ohio, have been pink-slipped unless something happens very soon. We know we have to resurrect this steel industry in our country to give it a fair trade, level playing field. I think the president is inching toward that. He's at the scrimmage line. We look forward to the details. But I can tell you what we don't want is an America without a steel industry, an America that is subject to predatory practices by countries like China, like Russia, even like Vietnam, that backdoor goods into this country and cause great job loss here and corporate collapse. We need to have a level playing field. I hope we get there soon.
What do you do, though, about these industries that have stepped forward and said, listen, domestically, it now pits those in the steel industry against some in the agriculture committee, the community, and also the beer producers in this country, of all people. And we're going to read a couple of their concerns. The Beer Institute statement that was issued today by Jim McGreevey, who is the president and CEO, says, according to third-party analyses, this 10% tariff he's talking about on aluminum will create a $347.7 million tax on America's beverage industry, including brewers and beer importers, and result in the loss of 20,291 American jobs. Brian Kuhl, the executive director of Farmers for Free Trade, said this: the tariffs invite retaliation that we're deeply concerned will hurt American farmers. I mean, tonight we're already hearing from China, hey, listen, we may do something to the soybeans we're importing from you if you actually do this. So how do we find the balance?
Well, I think that the devil is in the details, and I think that the administration is working through, they are listening to these different industries, but it is true that for almost 3 decades now, agricultural America has traded away manufacturing America. That can't continue, and I can tell you in the steel and aluminum industries and the precious metals and so forth, this nation needs a defense industrial base. We cannot lose our steel industry. And if you look at China globally, she manufactures over 2,300 metric tons, 2,300 million metric tons of steel. The world only uses about 13 million metric tons. So she's got enough to oversupply the entire world. We have to have rationalization of that kind of marketplace, and we can't have predatory dumping.
Let's ask about our allies now, because Canada spoke out on this today. Their Minister of Foreign Affairs saying Canada would view any trade restrictions on Canadian steel and aluminum as absolutely unacceptable. And referring to this issue that the president is saying this is an issue of national security, they said it's entirely inappropriate to view any trade with Canada as a national security threat to the United States. Your response?
Well, my response is that for my own state of Ohio, Canada is our most important trading partner. She plays by the rules, generally speaking. And again, I think that the president's tariffs will be targeted. At least I hope so. And that those who are the offenders globally will have to clean up their act. And we're waiting to see how this will be applied to various countries and their practices.
I got to ask you, because it's not often the president does things that make Democrats so happy, because we've heard a lot of happy Democrats today. How does it feel to be aligned with him on this and supportive of him on this issue, at least.
Well, actually, I'm glad he's aligned with me.
Well, today you guys are on the same
We've been
page.
waiting for this. I've served in Congress for over 3 decades. We've been waiting for this. We don't want to wait for the steel industry collapse as happened to the automotive industry. We can't afford to have the aluminum industry collapse in this country. There is something as a vital spine that is necessary to serve our industry for various purposes and also our defense needs. And we have to stand up to that. We have to move to a new day in America. And we have to work with those countries that are willing to play by the rules. And for those who aren't, well, they might have to have some penalties for a while.
Had you been more hopeful that under the previous administration with President Obama that some of this would have happened?
Well, you hope so. President Trump actually had a 10% increase in his trade deficit in his first year of office. So right now, if you were grading the Trump administration, it doesn't look much better. In fact, it looks worse initially than the Obama administration on trade. When you're hemorrhaging trillions of dollars in every decade in trade, and you're outsourcing this many jobs and causing this much harm. People say, what happened in the last election? Guess what? So many people have lost their jobs and livelihoods. They felt it right in their gut, in their communities. We have to fix this. There has to be a level playing field. I've been abroad. I've gone to countries like Japan, for example. I've seen real closed markets all the way since the 1970s. You go to China, you see the predatory pricing, you see the false markets, all this steel production when it's not needed, and then they dump it on the global markets. There has to be some kind of reckoning.
Well, this is something President Trump has talked about all through the campaigns. It's sure it helped him in your state and others like yours. Congresswoman, great to have you with us tonight. Thanks for dropping in.
Thank you very much.